One of the biggest problems students face in Task 2 is idea generation. They read the question and their mind goes blank, or they produce a list of disconnected points. The binary planning technique solves this by training you to think in pairs, so your ideas naturally connect. The word binary might remind you of computer code with its zeros and ones. In this context, we use binary to mean two related or opposite ideas that work together: night and day, hot and cold, individual and community. When you approach an essay question with this mindset, you don't try to think of 10 separate ideas. Instead, you choose two main binary perspectives and expand each one. Let's look at some common binary pairs that are extremely useful in IELTS topics: individual versus community, short-term versus long-term, domestic versus global, culture versus economics, developing countries versus developed countries, small business versus big business, staff versus company, rural versus urban. You'll see these dimensions again and again in different questions. Here's how to use this technique in practice. Imagine our sick leave question. Employees should be paid for sick leave. Do you agree or disagree? First, you identify the question type. This is an opinion essay. Next, you choose a binary pair that fits the topic. The obvious one is staff versus company. That gives you an instant basic plan. Body paragraph 1 focuses on benefits for individual staff members. Body paragraph 2 focuses on benefits for the company. You now have a clear, logical structure based on a simple pair. Inside each main idea, you can use smaller binary pairs to generate more detailed points. In the staff paragraph, you might think in terms of emotional versus financial effects, reduced stress and anxiety, and reduced financial pressure during illness. In the company paragraph, you might use productivity versus costs, maintaining productivity by stopping illness spreading, and long-term cost savings despite short-term expenses. Each time you choose a pair, you automatically have at least two angles to develop. The same technique works for other question types. Take a globalization question about international students. You might choose individual versus community and short-term versus long-term as your organizing pairs. For example, in the short term, individuals gain experience and skills. In the long term, there may be competition in the job market. At the community level, in the short term, local economies benefit. In the long term, there might be cultural exchange and integration. Notice how one or two pairs create a network of ideas without you needing to force them. Binary planning also helps your coherence. Because your ideas are organized around clear pairs, your paragraphs feel balanced and your development feels intentional. Instead of jumping from one unrelated idea to another, you show the examiner that you can see a topic from different but connected perspectives. This is exactly the kind of logical organization that earns higher coherence and cohesion scores. When you sit down to plan your essay in the exam, spend 1 minute asking yourself, which binary pair fits this topic best? Is it individual versus society, local versus global, short-term versus long-term? Once you choose, write those two words beside body 1 and body 2 on your paper. Then for each side, quickly note 2 or 3 sub-ideas using smaller pairs. That is your plan. In the following lesson, we will combine this binary planning technique with the system paragraph plan. You'll see how each paragraph has a clear job and how each sentence inside the paragraph plays a specific role in presenting and developing your ideas. If you haven't already, download the coursebook through the link below. It expands on this lesson and will guide you through the other videos.